Good morning, Standard 2. Today we continue with simple present tense, but we're going to look at some of the verb spelling rules. Now we know that if we are referring to he, she, or it, we usually add an S to the end of the verb. But there are some different spelling rules for the type of verbs that we have. So usually, most verbs, we just need to add an S to the end. We want to take a look at this specific verb here because it also has a rule. If we have a verb that ends with a Y, but there is a vowel in front of the verb, all we need to do is add S regularly. So we have Alden blank sports. And because this is referring to he, Alden would be replaced with the pronoun he, we will need to add an S. So we're going to write Alden plays sports. This is something he continuously does. Maybe he plays sports every day. That's his hobby. He plays sports. So because there is a vowel in front of the Y, we will just add an S. We don't have to change anything. And for most verbs, we will just need to add S. But there are some different type of verbs that have different endings that require different rules. So let's take a look at what happens if the verb ends with a Y. Now, usually if the verb ends with a Y, we need to change the Y to an I and then add ES. This happens if the verb that ends with a Y has a consonant in front of it. Now we can see here the verb study has a consonant. So let's take a look at this example. Jamie Lee blank after school. And we want to use the verb study. Now because there is a consonant here before the Y, we're going to change that Y to I and then add ES. So I'm going to write S-T-U-D-I-E-S. I had to change this Y to an I and add ES because there is a consonant in front of that Y. In this case, there is a vowel in front of the Y, so all I need to do is just add S. Now let's take a look at what happens if the verb ends with an S, Z, CH, SH, or X. If the verb ends with any of these endings, we're just going to add ES. Now this shouldn't be too new to us. These are very, very, very similar to the rules for when we're changing plural nouns. So this is very familiar to us, right? It's not brand new. It's like a little reminder. So let's take a look at this example. Varun blank TV all day. We want to use this verb watch. Now this verb ends with a CH. See, if it ends with S, Z, CH, SH, or X, we add ES. So when we're writing this, we're going to put watches. We need to add the ES because of the ending. We will not just add S, so we will not change, it doesn't end with a Y, or any of these other rules. We're just going to add ES. So it's going to become Varun watches TV all day long. I hope Varun does not do that, right? That would not be good. It's just an example here. So Varun watches TV all day long. Now let's look at a few exceptions. We have the verb go and the verb do. Now if you notice, these verbs here end with an O, which is a vowel, but these are very special verbs. When it comes to the word go and do, we will always add an ES to change the spelling of these verbs. So we have an example here, Xander blank to school, and we want to use the verb go. That will become Varun goes to school. We will need to add an ES. We cannot just add an S or that would become goes, right? It will not be proper. So goes to school. When it comes to the verb go and do, we add es. So let's quickly review. If the verb is referring to he, she, or it in the subject part of the sentence, we need to add an S. We add an S to the verb if it ends with a vowel first and then a Y. We just need to add S. For most of our verbs, we're just going to need to add an S. But if we have a verb that ends with a Y, and there's a consonant in front of it, we need to add an I. We need to change the Y to I and then add that ES. If our verb ends with S, Z, CH, SH, or X, we need to add ES to the verb. And if we have any verb that is go or do, we will add that ES. So on the next slide, you're going to write down your spelling rules as your notes, and then we're going to get some practice. Bye.